we go to the 2017 election and we don't get a third of women in the National Assembly or the Senate, the House will be declared unconstitutional. And what does the law say? Any Kenyan can move to court to seek dissolution of parliament.
Okay, so you just watched that clip. I mean, Honorable Millie, do you feel kind of disappointed in the 11th Parliament that you haven't been able to make that history that everyone was expecting to, ensure that Kenya is catching up with the rest of the region? What do you feel about that?
I think for me the 11th Parliament has been very disappointing, because we can look back to the other parliaments and say that we were able to do this much. We were able to bring 47 women. Now I can look, and when I see the difference, I see women contributing. People can see a number of women in parliament. The spice up parliament. We were able to pass a lot more, laws that affect the lives of women and children, and, the society in general, what I would call the more socio-economic or software of the society. And but now, when we got the opportunity in this parliament, we are not able to do what really the country expected of us, and to bring more women into parliament.
John, how do you think the women MPs fared this time around?
I think the women, there's a good bunch who are good. I don't like to judge them as women MPs.
What do you mean by good? Like they're active?
Like,
what do you mean?
In parliament, what we observe is that there's always a core number of MPs who are active in the House when things are happening. When, and not things like fighting. When things like...
As we are good for both.
Millie is good for both. No, I'll tell you for a fact, and not because she's sitting next to me, but that Millie is good when they're doing laws. Millie will be there, she'll be putting in amendments. I remember Priscilla, she even came with her own bill, and she's quite strong in the House. But women have also, in a way, engineered their own
failure.
Engineered the system to undermine them, because there's a feeling now that women are guaranteed 47. In fact, it's not a feeling, it's a fact. Women are guaranteed 47 seats. And when they go now to run in the constituency, they get told, which is a fact, that there's a seat for you, why don't you go for that? And I think that kind of undermines for them.
So it's almost like you don't need to do much because the seat is guaranteed.
Yes,
it's going to
yet
go to
you
a
see,
woman.
when like the elected ones in constituencies are very strong, very strong personalities, very good MPs, like Millie, like Alice Wahome, people whose voice is heard and is heard in a loud way. So there's a bit of, through this fighting, they created their own failure.
I mean, and it's a very valid question, because Millie, some parliamentary reporters have actually said, like last time when the bill was being discussed, some women MPs just abstained. They didn't even go to vote. Yeah, they weren't
what
in the house.
What I can tell you for a fact that we say it sometimes in private, that there are some of the women MPs who did not understand. They are not all. Quite a number of women MPs did very good. Pretty much the way you would say about a number of male MPs, there are some who are just equally as mazewalala as you would say of some of the women MPs. But what I can tell you for a fact is that I'm sure now that they've gone through the elections, they are beginning to understand that it's not easy, especially those who went to vie in seats like ours. But I don't think we really shot ourselves on the foot by coming, with the 47. And the reason why I can tell you that, really, I was so happy this time when I was driving around town and even in the rural areas, in Kisumu, in Coast, whatever. Even now, if you still drive into the city, even as I was coming here, posters of women candidates, there were so many this time. And that for me is very thrilling. We may not have done as well. I'll give you, for example, like Homa Bay County. I was the first in 16 years in Luo Nyanza after Phoebe Asio to be elected after 16 years in Luo Nyanza, even though we were the pioneers. This time, our party has managed to, at least for the primaries, we have 3 women in Homa Bay alone.
But even,
so for me, that's
even
courtesy of...
more women tried to get the party tickets, it seems that they didn't succeed.
They didn't succeed, but I think it was good.
Well, okay, in response, I'd like first to respond on 2 or 3 issues. The first issue is the one of the utility of quotas, as to where the 47 seats, for example, because it's really an attempt to beef up where we are weak, where we have had historical injustices, etc. So I don't think it's useless per se. I think we just need to sensitize ourselves as to the benefit of that. And as she's saying, right there is a result. The fact that the first 47 came in, and now we are having more posters of women, it means a woman somewhere has actually noticed that after all, I am worthy, I'm capable, and if they put those 47 there and they were able to deliver, why not attempt my own? So the idea is to also demystify and to be able to show to other women that you're really capable and equal to the task. The second one is around performance. First, I think it's a very unfair question, but nevertheless, it's always put on the table because it's not the same question you pose to the male counterparts. But all the same, if I've done a bit of research on this, I think I was doing that this morning before coming here, and women parliamentarians have actually done well. They have participated, but we don't hear that coming up as actively as it should. But because we are always putting to them, how have you performed? The ones who are there, how have they done? But why isn't the same question posed to the other? And then the last point I'd like to make is around the issue of women and supporting each other. Why are they walking out, etc.? I think we need to remember that patriarchy is not the monopoly or preserve of men. Women are part of the same society that's patriarchal. Women are socialized by the same society. So it will take us time also to work on ourselves as women to be able to understand and support each other. Some are ahead, some are behind. As the Honorable has said, it took time to even bring some of the women on board. So let us not think that patriarchy is, when you say patriarchy, you're just seeing a man. Sometimes consciously or subconsciously, you can be perpetuating patriarchy without knowing. So the thing is, we work on ourselves as a society so that eventually it will be a thing of the past.
Fair enough. And let's talk about the politics of it all, because we've had the president coming out to urge his side of, Majority Leader Eden Duale to make sure that this bill actually has quorum. And everyone is just, sitting back like, please, don't even say that. Why that reaction?
Is this because you're having a hyena? One of the things that saddens me is that we do not realize that this 47 women, this provision has a sunset clause. After the next 2 elections, not counting this one, after the next 2 elections, then there'll be no more 47 women. By that time, the law envisages a situation where the women should have come out enough to be able to stand up for themselves.
Is that the case? You seem to not agree with that.
No, actually the sunset clause is suggested in the bill, but in the Constitution there is no sunset clause.
The 47 women representatives will remain.
Will remain.
But Duale's bill proposes
a sunset
clause,
yes.
Of 20 years, I think.
Yes.
Isn't it?
Which is good for me because actually women need to understand, because it will get us off this slumber where women just think I'll come for 47. Next time I'll vie as a woman rep. The next time I'll vie. No, you are supposed to do women rep and then go and look for a seat.
It's not in perpetuity.
Like the way I was nominated, and then I went to Mbita. So the women who vied in the counties should now vie in single constituencies and leave room for other women to also vie.
So John,
Yes.
if Duale is a majority leader, he's been able to whip Parliament, in fact his side, to be in the House and vote for a specific bill. Why hasn't it worked for this bill?
Because it's a long shot, and even if you have the power of God over male MPs, you can't whip all of them to come to the House to support. It's a long shot to try to amend the Constitution to do all this. I think the shorter and long-term route will be to force our parties to give us more women candidates. In fact, it's not just more women candidates, more marginalized candidates from marginalized groups. And that way, we can get more of these people getting into the House.
Right.
I don't agree. I think this was a parliament where we would have easily have passed this bill because of tyranny of numbers. Right now, I can tell you, I'm giving you the most obvious one is the East African Legislative a few hours ago, when they were de-whipped. If you look at the Jubilee side, there was not even one side. Our side, at least, we are not being de-whipped. But on their side, because they were being de-whipped, not even one MP. In the same manner, when Duale wants people to be in that house and you're in Jubilee, I can tell you they will be there to the last man or woman.
And why not even one woman MP in the Jubilee side?
No, but what I'm telling you is, you are talking about... are you talking about Yala or the two-thirds?
I think he's talking about two-thirds.
Yeah, but if you are talking about the two-thirds, if Duale wanted people, the women come. They usually do come. But if he wanted to get the two-thirds, you would have got the two-thirds. And our side, we would have gotten the two-thirds if we were serious about it. But I don't think there was any seriousness about getting two-thirds.
There's even one time when some MPs were saying that the women were sent to other activities. They were sent away, so they couldn't even actually attend Parliament.
Who were abroad at that time. It wasn't.
In fact, that one, it was not even in relation to the two-thirds. That's the CSW, which comes every March every year, but it wasn't that. I think what was happening is that the critical moment, the people were de-whipped. The men were de-whipped.
Right.
And they were actually, if you went to the lounge, they were just lounging. They were just relaxed, and we went to talk to them. They were like, you leave us alone. We don't want, they told you, they were very clear, we don't want any more women here.
You can't whip. Even if you whip them, they'll come to the House and, probably
But
go
they
into
were
the
de-whipped.
lobby.
So, I mean, what is the future then? Because I've been looking at the numbers, especially the nominees currently, the people who will be candidates in various positions. So we're talking about women. Have we progressed in terms of, the politics? For governor's race, we know the men are 249, women are 8. Senators, we have 346 candidates, women are 23. Now the National Assembly, where, the issue of the numbers will come up, men are 2,078 and the women candidates are 90. Are we seeing a crisis? Are we foreseeing a crisis in the 12th Parliament?
We are. And in my opinion, I was saying this over the break and I was telling Honorable Millie, maybe a strategy would be to wait for the elections to come, and then before they take oath, we say, by the way, Chief Justice, is the time to advise the President. So the new Parliament doesn't even get to sit until they undertake to pass this
But
bill.
I assume that this bill, if it doesn't take off, after 11th Parliament goes, then it's forgotten. Then 12th Parliament has to start afresh with the bill.
No, because the Constitution says, if you look at the article that establishes and why the Supreme Court said do this progressively, it was one of those clauses where if they did not pass it, then Parliament itself was sitting illegally because the threshold was not met.
No, but,
therefore, even after the election, if the numbers are not met, how will they sit if the threshold is still uneven?
No, but after the election, we'll take Parliament and place it on the scale. If it's not balanced, then we tell them, wajipange, they need to balance it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Once the election is done and we still don't have two-thirds, then the petitioners now can go to the Chief Justice and tell him, okay,
no, that
now...
will be a different Parliament.
That would be a different Parliament. So you would have to start again. The petitioners would start afresh because that would be a new Parliament.
But what is the effect of dissolving Parliament at this point in time? Because we are going to an election anyway. You're giving people leave early to go and do their campaign.
So sadly, it appears that...
There's an effect. There's an effect if Parliament is dissolved early, because dissolving Parliament is not just about saying people have gone home, but it means the moment, for instance, I'm no longer a member of Parliament, I'm not earning any salary, and all that. So basically what it means is my life as parliamentarian stops absolutely. If I have security by virtue of being a parliamentarian, it is withdrawn. So all the things that come with being a parliamentarian cease the moment, if I have any loans that are being serviced, stops.
But
I have
with,
to look
with,
for my
with
own
69
whatever.
days to the election,
Well, it still has
are
some,
MPs concerned
it still
about
has-
that?
Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
Yeah.
Yes, they are. I think MPs are concerned. It's just that people have not actually thought about that possibility.
The repercussions. They're too
the
busy
repercussions.
campaigning.
People are too busy campaigning, so people have not really thought about it. But if it were to come to pass, I think most members won't be happy with it.
So, Flavia, if you're so passionate about it, why haven't you gone to court now that the deadline has elapsed?
Well,
And I'm not like encouraging you to do so.
Well, as we said earlier, the whole issue of working in concert, consulting, because as you move on, you learn as in terms of strategies that have failed you and those that work. So we are coalescing, because at the end of the day, we are not working as independent organizations around this. We're working as for the Kenyan women and girls. So we are coalescing, and I'm sure in the next day or two we'll be seeing some action on our part.
Right.
But for me, the fact that we have to dangle a carrot in terms of salaries, security, etc., as a potential way of nudging parliamentarians to act in the correct manner, again, just comes again to show how unfortunate this whole situation
Well,
is.
unfortunately, it's patriarchy.
Exactly. So
people have to unlearn, yes.
So as
But how about you consider
Yeah.
a change of approach?
and that right there is for
Like
me.
to
You know,
what is your
Yeah,
suggestion?
A change
something
of
more
approach to
achievable.
what?
Yes, I'm
Like
all
more
ears.
achievable.
I'm
Like
all
what?
ears.
Like what?
Like I remember Chepkonga had a bill on progressive. And you do that, then you change the other laws to make it easier for women to get into the political
But what I
sphere.
can tell you
Because
is that if you actually...
forcing men is hard.
But the challenge with the Chepkonga is that he had progressive without numbers, which was actually, if you look at what he was saying, was to take us to the constitution that we rejected. The draft that we rejected, it was called the Kilifi draft or the Wako draft. That's what he was doing, because we rejected that because it was progressive without numbers. And you can see from Parliament the way it is, you put anything without numbers, I'm telling you it's a pipe dream. It will never be realized. So for us, we said, even if you wanted to give us progressive, tell us that it is progressive 10 women added to the 47. Because if you had added 10 to this 47 now, then we would have added another 10, even though, by the way, respectfully, I don't agree with the Supreme Court about the fact that the framers of the Constitution intended it to be progressive. We debated it at length, and we said we did not want progressive. The only progressive we allowed was 47 then,
So you
and
think
the
it should
balance
have been?
now.
You think it should have been immediate?
It should have been
Then
immediate.
why
Because
can't
progressive
the
was
Duale bill
47.
sail through?
47 was already, was it not?
It was
Was
progressive. The
progressive.
end game is 50-50. Progressively, from 2/3, minimum of a third, we will get to 50-50. But for now, what we want is a third.
But you can't get it now.
Why? Okay, well, we can't get it now
practical
because of
reality
the
is that
time.
you cannot get it now.
It is true,
And
that's
that
a
is the
practical
thing.
Well, it
reality.
depends on political will. Because if, for instance, with the tyranny of numbers, there was political goodwill, and the President Uhuru Kenyatta came and sat in Parliament to say which of my MPs, especially before primaries, I'm telling you, you would have gotten everybody to a man or woman. Especially before party primaries.
Especially.
But after party primaries,
See,
you
now
are
they-
That's
wasting
it.
time.
So I'd like to get
Guys,
your,
no, they're
yes.
going home.
I'd like to get your final thoughts on this. Perhaps we can start with Joy. What do you think now is what should be happening now?
If I was one of the petitioners, now that I have been advised that the next parliament would be immune, I would be writing my letter seeking an appointment to the Chief Justice, because we have gotten to a place where the women of these countries have to take it by force. We have to fight for this space. We will not be given.
So you attack the current parliament.
Hit the bull
Don't
by
wait
the
for the
horns.
next
Now that
one.
we have the Judge Mativo stick, we have the carrot of the money,
Yeah.
but we have the stick on the other hand. Let's use the stick.
Thank you, Flavia.
For me, mine is I refuse to get swallowed into the whole numbers, bills, etc. We will do what we need to do in terms of strategy as organizations who are working on this and women who are concerned. However, for me, the conversation has to be a higher one around gender equality. What value do we place on women as a society? How really do we view women? What is the value we place on them? And do we feel that they have a place in participation in politics and in leadership or not? For me, that's really the crux of the matter, because we will not be here if the value that we place on women and girls as a society was what it should be.
Honorable Millie, especially if you make it to the 12th parliament,
Yes.
it's going to be that cloud hanging over you.
I know. And I would want to say that for me, to kind of end on a positive note, that I'd want to say that the 2/3 really is a temporary measure. But I want to say on a positive note that even though we are putting low numbers compared to men, one thing where we are guaranteed is we'll have a woman governor. One thing we are guaranteed, there will be a woman senator.
So there's some
because we don't
progress.
have now. So there's some progress. One thing is likely to be more women MCS. Likely, I don't know on the overall whether we'll have more women MPs, but we're really hopeful because right now I'm the chair of the 16. We're only 16, and I'm hoping that we'll be more than 16 in the next parliament. So I'd want to end on a positive note that I am so thrilled, and I want to tell the women that came out to vie that I'm so thrilled with you. Do not give up, even if you're vying the second or third time.
Yes.
There's always a third, fourth, and fifth time.
Perfect. John?
I think the organizations, the lobby groups,
Flavia,
they need to have a different approach. Don't try to threaten people. Don't try to make it sound like they are going to be made to go home, because the reality is you are living in a patriarchal system. And the way to get through to the patriarchal system is not through forcing it, it's by talking to it, by putting...
Sorry, reignite the conversation. I get your point, John. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining me here at the round table. Hopefully, we're going to see some action soon, or, some discussion about this. And to you at home, tell us what you think about the gender rule. Do you even understand it? What do you think about women representation? And what do you think is a solution to this impasse? I'm Asha Mwilu. This has been the round table. Have a good night.
Hotel Nairobi.